Why I asked him to speak in French is when you don't see a person and you just listening, you can tell this is an American speaking French. Because in the American people they say, je m'appelle, Merci, Lise.
Okay, how about we hear from Olivia Mitchka? She can pass that mic on to the next
Okay. Hello, my name is Olivia Mitchka, and Reese and I were in the same grade, so we both graduated
15.
15.
Okay, sorry.
And I went to STA also, and then after that, I went to KU, and I double majored in French and art, painting. And I did it in 3 years, and I was in honors, and I could brag, but I won't. But like Maya and Reese, a big reason that I could double major and do it so fast was because I got like 40 credits in high school, not all for French, but at least 20 in French. And so I think I might have only taken like 4 to 6 French classes in college to get a major. So that was awesome. And after I graduated, I have taught like summer schools at Academy Lafayette because I do love the community. And then I just got back from a 7-week trip to Europe, and I spent about 6 weeks in France, and I spent a whole month in like a small village. And that was a great experience because I think like learning French in college is a different experience than Academy Lafayette, which was all immersion, and like it was so much more about speaking French and using it as a tool for connecting with other people versus like French classes were all writing papers and grammar. So I liked going back to France and just getting to appreciate French for what I love it for, which is just talking and like going places and I don't know, just making memories. So that was a good experience, and I did not lose my French. But you don't have to ask me to do it now. Okay, merci.
Est-ce que tu as aussi été, quand vous étiez en 6e année, tu as été en France? Ok, comment ça s'est passé là?
Pas de problème. J'étais à Bayonne.
Ok.
Et j'aimais mon famille d'accueil.
Ok.
Et j'aimais être voir les rencontrer les écoles françaises et américaines parce qu'ils sont très stricts, mais aussi c'est amusant et faire la culture.
Oh, merci
Ils sont stricts, oui.
Ils sont là.
Oh.
Yes. Yeah.
So you said, I realize French in college is much more academic, more writing, different type of French, but did you think it was important to keep learning French in order to keep your French? Did you feel like college French was a big part of your future? Is it important to you?
So honestly, I majored in French in college because I already had so many credits and because it was kind of what I already knew. And it's not like something that I really want to pursue as a career in any form.
Did it help you with teaching here in Academy?
I don't think. Yes. The college, I don't know. I think I just noticed a big difference between me and my peers in college, in terms of why we were studying French and how we studied French. And, yeah, because I realized that maybe my grammar wasn't like in terms of writing or knowing verbs wasn't as good because when we were in 7th grade with Mr. Balde, we were kind of messing around in the back of the class. But my accent was so much more natural and is easier for me to read and easier for me to write and easier for me to speak than everybody else in my class, because of the French immersion and from knowing it from such a young age. Yes.
I will say just personal experience, I minored in French and I can understand everything that everyone is saying.
Yeah.
But if you told me to go up there and speak like they are speaking, there's no way. And then on the reverse, I grew up speaking Spanish. And then I continued to study Spanish formally until I went to college. My conversations with girls are wonderful. I can read in French, read in Spanish, and write in French for a while, better than I could write in Spanish, but my conversations. Yeah. So this immersion seems to me like my children are just, I mean, it's French, and then write in French, and then to read a book out loud in French and in Spanish, and they speak Spanish with a French accent. But it's just, it's amazing, and it's completely different than learning it.
Yes. I actually wrote a paper and did a presentation in college about French immersion. Just drawing on my experiences and then doing more research about, like the history of French immersion and the stats around French immersion. And all of my peers were like so impressed by how I learned French, and they thought it was so cool. But again, like their ability to conjugate verbs and like these crazy tenses was a lot better than mine. But to me, it's not that really. Like the fact that I can go to France now and talk to anybody confidently and fluently is a lot more important.
Merci.
Okay, that's
Merci bien.
okay.
Okay, how about Emlyn Brown?
Ok, Emlyn, on va commencer par le français d'abord.
Bien sûr.
Alors, est-ce que tu peux te présenter et nous dire quand tu as habité
En avant des premières années à Fayette, comment est-ce que ça s'est passé? Est-ce qu'il y avait des choses qui étaient difficiles ou plus faciles? Est-ce qu'il y a eu quelques problèmes?
C'est une bonne question en français. Mais bon, j'ai commencé à la maternelle au campus Oak Street en 2005 avec Madame Marivon. Bon, c'était les premières années. L'école a commencé en 1999. Pas vrai, ouais. Alors, déjà une école nouvelle, mais qui n'a pas atteint le statut des examens standardisés, n'était pas aussi établi. Mais bon, c'était mon année, c'était les années, c'était les classes autour de moi, moi et Luis. Puis nous avons établi le standard de quelle belle école, quelle école puissante, et les profs puissantes et comment dire, des cours. So the question was, talk a little bit about the first years. And so, yeah, starting in 2005, over on the Oak campus, and basically saying that, when I started out, the school was only 6 years old, that there hadn't even been a class that had gone all the way through yet. And so it hadn't established itself as the powerful school that it is. The standardized test scores, for year after year after year hadn't been coming out yet. And so it was really my year and the years around ours that continued to show that the academics are top notch for what it is. After I came out there, so graduated in 2014, went to Pembroke Hill here, did took AP French and used it in my college courses. I attended Cornell University in New York and graduated in 2022. Then took a job with, actually we're in them today, a company that does the electrical systems of public transportation. So I went to DC and worked on the metro there. Learned that my company got the contract for the overhead wires on the streetcar extension from Union Station to UMKC. So if you see wires in the air, that's me. But
Yeah, so, okay, I'm going to go to the, so I learned, was in my homeroom in seventh grade and,
and it,
tenth grade. So I particularly remember his interest in, the book that we studied and we continued studying is Sundiata. And even when he continued high school, you guys have to do something with it, and I remember your email, blah, 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 and all that. So we have maintained a good relationship with him, and when he came back, was it last year? So we kind of met this year, then we had lunch together.
Mhm.
So that was really great to maintain those good relationships.
How about Daniel?
Let's go, Daniel.
Hi y'all, my name is Diane. My name is Diane Watson. I attend the University of Central Missouri in Warrensburg. I have a understanding degree in history with a minor in Africana Studies and International Studies. I graduated from AO in I think 2018, y'all.
2018, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry, but, yeah. What's going with this leg? Excellent.
Right.
Yeah, it's fine. What else y'all want to say?
So, qu'est-ce qui est, il y a quelque chose qui t'a particulièrement aidé quand tu as quitté Lafayette, qui t'a aidé à mieux affronter les épreuves au high school ou à l'université? Il y a des choses que tu as appris ici et qui t'ont été utiles.
Oui, attendez, j'ai, j'aime bien, faire des voyages.
Tu as été en France?
Ah oui.
Yeah.
Juste en mars, je pense, avec ma famille. J'étais en Espagne pour 3 mois, avec une programme avec mon université. Donc, j'ai utilisé mon français et un peu d'espagnol.
No more.
Okay, all right. J'ai utilisé l'espagnol et le français quand j'étais là-bas. J'ai rencontré des personnes qui parlaient en français en Ghana aussi. Donc, Ghana est en dessous. Il est au milieu de.
Tu peux continuer en anglais.
Okay, yeah, my bad, John. I know what I'm saying. I know what I'm talking about. I know how to say it. But okay, so boom. I was in Spain for 3 months. I went to France with my family. We were there for like a day and some change. We were in Paris. It was really funny because every time I like was speaking to them, they were looking at me and they're like, "Your family's American. Why aren't you speaking?" And they were really bothered by that. I don't know, like, why are y'all mad at me? So yeah, and I also went to Ghana. I've been to Ghana twice. The second time I went, I met a lot of people that were like Francophone speaking Africans, and they were from Cote d'Ivoire, and Burkina Faso, and Togo. So yeah, I spoke a lot of French with them, and it was really funny. I think another funny story when it comes to me knowing French. I was in Morocco when I was in Spain because Morocco is like right across from the water. And I was talking to the people there, and they knew I was American, but they were asking me like, are your parents French? And I'm like, no. And they're like, well, like, are you Cameroonian? I am not. And they're like, what's going on? I'm like, I'm from Missouri, Kansas City, which I would say, I don't know. But it's just so funny, like, when it comes to like being a person of color and you knowing a different language, they don't expect you to know what's going on, so they kind of looking at you like, be for real. I'm being for real, so.
Très bien, merci beaucoup.
Okay, Libby Lou.
Vida sénégalaise.
I'm Libby. I graduated in 2018 with Danye. I went to St. Teresa's. I did French there. I also, like everyone else, had like 22 credit hours or something in French, and I went in with like 50 total credit hours to college. I don't know if anyone else had the same experience at St. Teresa's, but like the French teacher there would ask me questions and like would ask the other AL students like how to say things. She yeah. Yeah, so I don't know, and they would like quiz us, kind of like the same thing with all the grammar, like they quiz us on like why things are the way they are. No, I just know how to speak it. Yeah, I just went to Senegal in last January. I met Mr. Mulai's family. I went like on a school trip there, did a little study abroad. But like I never would have decided to go to Senegal if it wasn't for this school. Like all of the cultural experiences here prepare you for like the real world and like real life. I'm currently at med school at UMKC in the 6-year med program. And like that experience, like being able to speak to patients and like even now, like in different languages and trying to understand, like make them feel seen is just makes a world of difference, especially in healthcare. Yeah, I don't know. I think the main thing from the school is just the cultural experiences were, I don't know, just changes your like mindset and everything for the better, for sure.
Quels sont les... Est-ce que tu as des histoires intéressantes du Sénégal? Juste une histoire.
Mon prof au Sénégal, elle m'aimait pas parce que je parlais français parfaitement. Et elle ne pouvait pas me comprendre et
Ok.
elle m'a dit qu'elle va me laisser au Sénégal parce que je voulais aller faire des excursions sans elle, parce que je pouvais parler français.
Parle ça en anglais.
My teacher in Senegal, she didn't really like me at all. Because I spoke perfect French, her husband spoke perfect French. We'd have conversations and she claimed before the trip to speak French, and little did we know she did not. She would say like things that were just wrong and everyone would be confused, and then I'd translate for her. And then she would hate me even more. She threatened to leave me in Senegal because I wanted to go do different excursions because I couldn't speak the language. But yeah, that was an interesting story. But needless to say, like she was like, you can't go out there. It's a small village. They're not going to speak French. They spoke more French they did than the capital. Like it was so stupid, but it was an amazing experience to go there.
Did you get jollof?
Yes,
Okay, I've never had Senegalese jollof.
it was
And I
good.
know it's, see, in Ghana, they love, I'm jollof, they love to claim they like jollof, but I don't know.
It was
It's good
good.
up there, but I haven't had Senegalese.
I haven't had anything else, but I've had it from Senegal.
Okay. All right.
Libby, how do you help your friends, your colleagues, with your friends in Senegal?
As
What was your help?
Well, I was kind of like the go-to person there because everyone else spoke Spanish, and I don't know any Spanish. Anytime I try to speak Spanish, it turns into French, and it just doesn't work. I took Mandarin at AL, and I mean, I've been able to have conversations with people in Mandarin, not anymore. But in Senegal, I would help them get like taxis and things like that. We had like a coordinator in Senegal. She's Senegalese. She just worked for this program, and she would sometimes get tired like translating because we did all these things and a lot of people didn't speak English where we were going. So when she'd get tired, I would help translate things like that. Yeah.
I do believe that we have 2 kindergarten teachers here tonight, Madame Mayu and Madame Israel. We'd love to hear from our frontline soldiers. Should I get up or do you hear me? Yeah. Well, I started in academia at 2006. So I remember all the places. I think I got Evie in my classroom, right? Yeah, I got Evie. That's what she said. I'm kidding, yeah. They were all good. They were all interesting. The first months is very challenging for kindergartners. And especially because they struggle a lot, sometimes they think they speak Spanish, but it's French, and they don't get it, and it takes time for them to get used to it. And then once they understand that they can understand a few words, few sentences, it clicked, and then at that moment, they're like text proud about, how they can understand and how they can speak, and they start to speak with each other, and it makes sense to them, and it becomes something like as they say, like a nice and big experience. But yeah, I think it takes a village. It's not only us. I mean, yes, they start with us. But I think the whole school, the whole academy, Lafayette process is like what is help them scaffolding their future and comment mold their spirit and their mind become great people. That's it. I do have questions for you, but I don't. But you have questions like about what's immersion or what's the doing of classroom.
What I remember with my girls is that by Halloween, they understood what was being said. They weren't really competent to speak it well, but they understood. But by January, they were speaking French. Yeah, am I crazy?
No. It
seems so fast.
Yeah. It's like for any kind of language. It's like the fact that they are immersed in the language is like they have to they live in it every day. Like if they have to see it, they see it, but where they have to see it, they have to touch the table, they have to take their beaker, So it's practical for them. So at a certain point, because of that, all that they have to do the thing that they are talking about, So at a certain point, they're like, it's easier for them to express themselves in that language.
Yeah, I would say that it's really interesting. The first months of the year is like the observation phase, like getting used to all routines or like rules, school rules. It can be overwhelming for some kindergartners that come here, but it's easy. They get into it really easily and they help each other. And I would say the French language is so what gives us this special bond with our students that maybe like it's English speaking. But we have a special bond with our students, and this is really, really very important. And we can see the tremendous progress from month of August until the month of January when they come back from the winter break. And it's like as Gail was saying, that they starting to have conversations with each other. They're starting to play with each other, play teacher with each other in French. And then it's really amazing how, and especially with the kindergarten students, to see those huge progress from the moment where we take them to the end of the school year. It's really amazing there. Special kids, yeah.
In your words, why is it so important to start immersion early? Why start in kindergarten? Why is it impossible to wait as long as fourth or fifth grade?
It's just because of the brain, I mean, and I think there's some research on it. The brain of the little ones um, from their toddler to 6 years old, 7 years old, I think, it's able to absorb so much. So they say the more you can teach them at that age, the better they retain when they grow up, you know, and actually when you remember, the thing that you remember the most is in life when you grow up, usually something that you've been taught at that age, usually. That's from, I speak from like experience. And I think that's what research says too, so it's, something else to say.
At that age, they're
something-
still constructing their own language, and I think learning another language is helping them. It's not like, okay, it can be, no, it's not too much. It's mind opening for them to be a culture to another language, another way of thinking, maybe, so that it opens their minds, I think, more, and that's why they make so.
Can be music, anything that they can learn at that age is a good thing. I mean, it's just gonna help them later, even if they don't, you know, finish a program or anything. It's a good thing to start at that young.
Right.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Mang has a video for us about the advantage of the bilingual brain. And then he's going to talk about how AL scores so well and numbers don't lie.
Yeah, as you see, the Spanish bilingualism of getting another language is well researched. I think that everybody understands that. If people think that, okay, there'll be delay for English, but that's not the case. If you look at our test scores, I'll show them with you, English test scores outperform all these suburban learners in English. And they have a better problem solving skills too, bilingual people, those who are open worldview, you see it now. If you hear the graduate testify, you can see it here in terms of problem solving and worldview and being open to different opinion and different things, being themselves by, of course, have a strong personality. And then the good thing also is delaying dementia. It's good. So I'll share one other thing that I want to let people know is the US Department of Education, their latest plan, they call it Raise the Bar. And one of the goals is provide every student with a pathway to multilingualism. We're already there. We're offering not only French, English, but Mandarin and Spanish. Our school is a trailblazer. We already decided years ago that we're going to offer Mandarin and Spanish starting 6th grade, in addition to French. So, and this is the bilingual from the BBC. We saw Sergio's talking about it. I'm going to try to share it with you. How do we? That's going to is volume up.
Why having you leave early? Okay, is that okay? Good. Wait.
All our languages are active, all at the same time, 是被激活. The continual effort of suppressing a language through speaking another, along with the mental challenge that comes with regularly switching between languages, exercises our brain. It improves our concentration, problem solving, memory, and in turn, our creativity.
It's now widely accepted that there are huge benefits to being bilingual. A key breakthrough came back in 2007 in Toronto, when Ellen Bialystok and her team made a discovery that shook the scientific community and has massive real-world implications.
It was the first study which suggested that bilingual people who speak more than one language develop dementia 4 to 4.5 years later than those who don't. It was a powerful confirmation of the idea of cognitive reserve.
Now, what is cognitive reserve? Cognitive reserve is the idea that people develop a reserve of thinking abilities, and this protects them against losses that can occur through aging and disease. As well as delaying the onset of dementia, bilingual people have been shown to recover significantly better after a stroke. Learning anything new helps build cognitive reserve, but there's something special about language.
Language is particularly broad and complex. It affects ideas and concepts, perception, different sounds. The more complex a certain skill is, the more likely it is to have a positive effect on cognitive reserve.
So when is the best time to learn a new language? Well, here's part of the answer.
The brain is a complex set of neural networks. When you're learning a new language as a child, you're building new networks. When you learn a language later in life, you have to modify the existing networks and make more connections. Because learning languages later in life can be more challenging, the benefits can also be greater.
But a 2023 study at Great Ormond Street suggests this is just part of the story. So we invited 3 groups of children that were aged 8 to 10. And we had a group of children who were monolinguals, a group of children who had early exposure to Greek and English from birth. They were our early bilinguals. And finally, we had a group who had been exposed to English between the ages of 2 and 5, and they were our later bilinguals. So what we did that no one had done before is that we asked the children to lie in the scanner while doing nothing and just staring at a cross. And during this, we measured their brain activity. So what we found that was really exciting for us is that our early bilingual group had the strongest connectivity in the network at rest. These group of regions are regions that light up when we're doing nothing and just mind wandering. A little bit like if you're going to the gym every day, your muscles might look bigger at rest. When similarly, your brain might be better connected at rest because you are learning a language early. And this is something no one had found before. And there's more.
One lesser known behavioral effect of bilingualism in both children and adults is the ability to see the other people's perspective or to understand that it is possible to have different points of view.
Recent studies have also found that people tend to react more emotionally in their first language and more rationally in a more abstract way in the second. And the way it is usually explained is that the first language is the one which we use to speak with family, with friends, in informal settings. The second language is usually learned at school, at the university, at work.
Scientists are discovering new upsides to being bilingual all the time. And it's not just our brains that benefit.
Learning new languages and speaking more than one language is very important, not only for individuals, but also for societies.
Learning new languages can open doors to new cultural experiences, life opportunities.
Different people, different communities, and different ways of seeing the world.
And with that, we'll say a final.
Au revoir, arrivederci.
Goodbye, do widzenia, auf Wiedersehen, adios, adeus.
Oil.
So as you can see, lots of benefits in being bilingual. How do we do as a parent? You know, a lot of parents talk about reading. They're afraid of reading, and my child is not going to be reading. I have all my 3 kids here. They the older one graduated, is in college now. I have 2 more in high school. And I understand, I've never had any concern about the English part. You know, Francophone, you say, okay, I'm gonna put my child into English speaking school, and at home we can French. But I knew that being here will strengthen the English, by the way. It's not the contrary. People make the mistake. This is the blue, you take the blue, the color is a chord, how they do all the way. How they started in kindergarten is NWA test, all the 6 years. The one in the middle, 1920, is the COVID where everything went down and then started going up. You see the curve, how they're progressing. And once they get 7th and 8th grade, how well they're doing over there. So even though they started slowly over time, by the time we finish 5th grade, they can overtake the others and move forward and outperform. Yes, now the mock test. It's a mock test. The red one is the state average. The state of Missouri, and the blue one is Academy where I see we're performing 26 points above the average of the state. State average, if you take it, by the time you get there, is 26 points above the state average. Our English tests we have always had 100% on 12 out of 12 in the what's called APR. That was man, I'm having the performance report, annual performance report that every district has. We've done so well that we have been contacted by other districts to say, how are you doing well in English? And remember, our kids are taught everything in French. They only have 1 hour of English a day. So, but there's a transfer, it works really well. And this is how we do compared to the district called, so if you remember, 2009 and then 2012, 21 is the COVID years, everything went down and we're going up again. Compared to Blue Spring, Elizabeth, Liberty, Park Hill, all the green line is a kind of like doing better. And pre-COVID is how high we used to do compared to others. It's 20 points above. The yellow one is the state average, and the black one is the school district. So one thing also I want to share with you is I took it out because the gets it out, but this is testimony a parent sent me. A parent from Portland. I did not see her for years, and then she saw me and befriended me on Facebook and sent me a message that I want to talk to you about how my child is doing. You see, hi, man, I wanted to share with you how that X was accepted to several medical schools where the acceptance rate was 6% and less. She has worked hard and had excellent grades and MCAT scores along with so many of the other applicants. I truly think that X apart, as an applicant, was a fluency in 3 languages, French, Spanish, and of course English. That's the same thing we did. Over there in Portland, we studied Mandarin and Spanish, in fourth grade. The third language. When we started here, people say, oh, if they confuse too many kids, sometimes we really downplay or minimize or we don't really think about how kids are capable of what they're capable of doing, unfortunately. And we started managing Spanish in fourth grade. When I wanted to do it here, people would tell me, hey, you're crazy. I said, no, I did it before and I know how successful it is. In Poland, we don't have drama, theater starting third grade. Okay? And our kids also doing really well. Our kids here doing as well as this. Because you go to Lincoln, the top kids are always anytime I walk around in the city, I've seen former parents tell me my kids are really well prepared. They're doing really well. Okay? So that's what I think that is the same here. I have to have kids who left our school in Poland and went to France. American kids, parents do not speak French. They go to France, they went to France for a year of schooling. Some of them skipped the grade in France. I'm telling you. I have one who is now a professor. She graduated from not UCLA, the other one in California, top university.
USC.
What?
USC.
No, Berkeley. Not Berkeley. It's top. No, it's top. It's California. Top of that. What? Stanford. Yes. Stanford in French, Arabic, and history. Okay. Arabic. I'm saying, where did she learn the Arabic thing? Went to France and do it. African American girl, and she's now a university professor. So it works, and we need to trust the system, but also work hard to make sure that every kid is successful. That's our real crusade is making sure that the disadvantaged kids are as successful as anybody. That's where we put our strategic plan for the next 5 years. That's what we're working hard to making sure. Because again, for me, our school is only as successful as how we treat all those disadvantaged kids. That's our battle. That's what we're gonna work hard to make sure it happens. So I want to share with you. I do it. I have my son who graduated here. Read like in English. He reads like I spent at least sometimes $50 per week for books. They read everything, and then they're in science too. He's doing molecular engineering, and actually read all kinds of things. Harry Potter maybe 6 times, all the series. Okay, and our kids do it. They all do it and work really hard. Every kid is capable of doing it. We need to make sure that this is the kind of education that every child needs to have. And the American government understands that. That's why they say that goal for raising the bar. And that's why we, again, trailblazer, maybe one of the rare schools, Immersion school, introducing a third language. I mean, when we started in Poland, it was the only school offering it. I could say, I don't know exactly, but maybe I'm the first person to introduce that in the US. But I don't know, I've been in contact with so many schools, but most of them, they don't have the third language like that in fourth grade. No. So, but they keep doing it. And you see, this testimony shows that it works. Okay. What is the next? Perspective, Mr.
Yeah, we wanted to hear from some parents. Pam, go ahead.
Well, if anybody has information they'd like to share with us, that would be great. I know Angela has many stories. No, Angela said she'd be happy to answer questions.
Actually, I do have something to say.
There you go.
Can I just sit?
Can I sit here? I think we've heard a lot from excellent students tonight, and from an observer standpoint, I think that there are a lot of things that Academy Lafayette gave to our kids beyond their academic achievements. And a lot of it was in that video, so that kind of steals my thunder, but I think there are heart and mind things that come from a school like this. We talked about the things that happen in your brain that make it more adaptive, more flexible, more
open to learning different things, more creative. But I also feel like there are so many heart things that happen that make you more open-minded, more culturally curious, more open to different cultures and people and experiences. And those are things that any kid can benefit from, whether they are going to medical school or completely different. So that's my observation. Oh. Yes.
I'll just say that Academy Lafayette was really a great school. You know, my daughter, she's her sophomore in college, you know, she has feelings for this her second year, but she's gonna graduate in 2025, instead of 2026. And, you know, it all started here, you know, this was the foundation, you know, it was just to know that a little girl who, you know, I was a single mom, and she's been all over the world. You know, already at a young age of 19 years old, she's been on several different continents. It was the foundations from this school. You know, with here she was good. She made good grades. It was fine. She went over to UA, and those kids have been there since kindergarten. She surpassed them and was, you know, one of the top students there. You know, so it all started here. You know, she's taking French on a college level, and it's like she's still more advanced than the teachers, like they all say, because it started here. And to know that she can travel all over everywhere, because people all over the world speak French. And going to school here was people from all over the world, so that's why she's comfortable with traveling the world, because she was already exposed to that at a young age.
I was just gonna say that, she has a brother that is like 8 or 9 years older than her, and so Academy Lafayette was even around, I don't think at that time, or if it was so new to us, we lived in the suburbs, so we didn't know. We moved here, we heard about Kansas City, Missouri public schools, and I will say it was more me than my husband. No, my kids are gonna go to Catholic school, I grew up in Catholic schools, my kids are gonna go there, and I had my mind completely shut. We had one friend in her class who the mother just kept saying over and over, you gotta check the school I got, and I'm like, just to appease her, we kind of came and said, well, let's just go look at this school. And it's just like what they were saying, Madam Israel was her kindergarten teacher. We came in and touring it, seeing how they were in kindergarten, how animated the teachers were. Just 2 months in, these kids were all listening. We walked through that school, and I remember when we left, I went to one of the administrators who, what's her name? I'm sure she's still there. I can't remember, but anyway, we went to her and I said, okay, so where do we sign up? Like, I want to sign up right now. And she said, oh, calm down. She's like, you'll be fine. Just sign up whenever. I said, what day does it open? I said, I want to know the day, the hour. And I was there the day the door opened. And I said, do you remember me? And she's like, you need to calm down. That was the year that they had to do the lottery or whatever. They were the largest class. And I was like, just remember I was here first. Because it was. And the other thing I can say is, they always say that you have friends from high school and they're friends that you meet other families. We're actually still friends with all of the grade school kids. I mean, we still are with the parents, the kids, and not only are the parents, but like the kids are old enough now that I'm like, oh, what did you do? And she's like, oh, Danya was in town or Jack was in town, and they all meet up, and it's still just, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so. So it's like a lifelong bond, she's got a couple teachers here that are like lifelong friends. It was one of the single best decisions that we've made. And I'm so glad that friend talked us into coming and looking at the school that we were so close to, and all his numbers, they did speak that, because then after you see that, you go home and look it up and it's there. And to her point, it's not just the education is there. It is amazing. But then on top of it, I like what you said, culturally curious, absolutely 110%. So yeah, I'm jealous that I didn't get to go here and have the experiences that she's had. So yeah.
It is a gift that
It is.
parents have given their kids.
It is. Even the kids who don't realize it when they're going through it, they do when they're done.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Sorry, I'm just trying to focus on it. I just wondered, like, if your child isn't maybe naturally as good of a student or excelling, what if, and if there's that barrier already, and you don't know, maybe all you have to go off of is just the test scores and then their grades. And if you're not in the class, we don't know, there's kind of that disconnect with not only the language, then they get behind in any other subject, like what is the tutoring? Yeah.
Like, so for example, you know, so with the Title I, is that the name? The tutoring, you know, so.
Academic support.
That is, so, yeah, that's there.
Yeah.
Since they're here, they need to stay here, period. You know,
Totally.
no, it'll work out in the end, for real.
My daughter started in kindergarten and we were actually in the lottery and we didn't get in. And we were number 136. I remember. I was so upset. And they said, no, stay on the list, stay on the list. So she started from kindergarten. She was doing okay. And then the pandemic hit. And all of her classes were online. We started getting behind everything. But here, they screened her, taking less, and she's behind in reading, and she's behind in math. What do? After school tutoring. They offered it for free every day. We followed up, we did the work we needed to do. Her test scores, when we got them back at first, were low. But I trusted the process. We got her a little bit of extra tutoring in school. And now she is advanced in everything. Her teachers tell me that her French is wonderful. Her math is great. We are still keeping on top of it because it's always something, but here I can say I work in education and special ed. I have never, ever had that experience where they say to you, we are going to provide that support because your child needs it, and we're going to provide it for free here in the building that she attends every day. So I agree, you get the support you need because this opportunity is so amazing. And I'm bilingual, I speak 2.5 there because the French is but I knew it was not a question that this was the place I wanted them to go because of that, those benefits that come with it. And their French is a lot better than their Spanish because Spanish was my first language, but I'm not worried because we shows you learn a second language, that third language easier. And then that third language makes the fourth language, if you want to, easier. Just that, you know, linguistic flexibility is there. And it's an opportunity. So if you're worried, get some support, but it's such a benefit mentally that usually, unless there's really a learning disability or something that's a part, this is still just a wonderful thing for any child, really.
I get out all the time too. How much was that fancy school that you sent your
Oh,
daughter
there you
to?
go.
Kathy sent her daughter to that. They sent her to that really, I'm like, no, it wasn't fancy. It wasn't expensive. It was a public school, a charter school. Yeah.
I just want to say this was very informative because I was one of those people, I was extremely nervous about putting my daughter in this type of situation because I always want to make sure I'm putting her in the best situation. And by it being the inner city, I'm like, where is she really about to go? And so choosing Academy like that and being here now and just understanding how it works, I feel a lot better because I just didn't really understand what was truly going on and how is she getting it and, test scores and just not knowing, is she really understanding? My daughter's kind of shy at times. So I'm like, Brie, are you really understanding what's going on? And but this helped me to know I'm just gonna stick it out. Trust the process, exactly. So this was, I'm glad I came. I was like, I have to show up, but I do want to understand how is immersion helpful?
And that's the thing is, I think what most parents say, when you don't understand,
Yeah.
you're not sure, that this is why we kind of wanted to do this forum, because there's so many parents that do have questions. And I think you start out like that, as a parent, because, your child isn't gonna tell you, hey, I'm not understanding, and then you
Right.
think, it's a whole different language, how could they possibly understand?
And I don't feel like I'm a great help, I can speak French, so I'm just, I want to be able to control freak, so I kind of just wanna be in there and I can't be in there like I would like to, even when she's having math problems, I'm trying to read exactly, what's going on. I don't fully know, so it makes me extremely nervous, but this was very helpful.
The support is here, and one thing you do know is that if you trust the process.
Yeah.
All these amazing adult people now that started out here.
Exactly.
Amazing, I mean, I'm just amazed at what you all are doing, and, I think it's definitely shows, and even the young lady that had to leave to go back to Denver, it just shows how this school in learning, in this school has just, I mean, you guys are amazing.
It definitely helped my decision, because I was like, I was a little bit torn, because my mom was a big advocate, because she works over in research and all the nurses and doctors. A lot of their children are here, and so she was a big advocate for just hearing them, but like, I don't know if this is for her, but this is very helpful, so.
Our daughter would come to us and she would say, Mom, she'd come out in the living room and be frustrated. I have a question. I'm like, okay. And she's like,
yeah,
never mind. And I go, I don't know how to say it in English. And then you blend it. Did you get the answer to your question? Yes. And he can attest to us sitting at many events going, and we sit at the recitals or the musical, and we sit there and we go home and the grandparents are like, how was it? We're like, we have absolutely, we did not understand a single thing, because the teachers speak to the kids in French, they sing in French, and we're like, yeah.
I was gonna say, like, a lot of the kids in our grade, I remember I'd look around sometimes and I'm like, I feel like our grade is not very smart sometimes. Like, I was like, I don't know how a lot of these people are gonna keep up. And by the time we got to 8th grade, still those people, they act the same way. You see their test scores, you're like, they're smart. We get to like high school and like, I'm sure Danya has had the same experience. Like anyone that like didn't know us in grade school, that's like, oh, like I met another person from AL, they're so smart. And they say every single time, like, I wish I went there, they're geniuses.
Wow. I hear that. I think it's just me just being nervous, not knowing, but I'm supposed to stick it out. It is.
Oh, I was gonna say, like, my mom, when I would come home from school and like have homework and everything, the only thing she helped me was that English and then spelling test, and then she did not play about the spelling test. But what I wanted to say is like, it's okay if you can't help her out with everything, because like you said, we have a lot of support here. And honestly, it just takes time to like, just be patient with your daughter and just letting her do her work herself. Because I remember like, just looking at my mom, I'm like, dang, she really can't, like, like she really cannot. And it's okay, but like, don't feel bad about it. And I don't know, it's just, I spent a lot of time in tutoring. I was not a math person. I'm still not a math person. But I don't know, like we just took time, and like it eventually at the end it ended up helping and just being beneficial, just taking time out of your day to do the small tasks and just, building up on skills and stuff like that, just so that you're able to perform well on these tests and everything.
And the teachers will let you know. I mean, they're really good. They'll let you know. They'll work with you.
And I feel like I was able to like learn how to like solve problems on my own type thing.
Oh, yeah.
I come and she's like, I literally can't help you. Like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fine. And then you like figure out like, what do you do when you're struggling, like at a young age? And still to this day, like, I know what to do, how to study, how to fix things, where to go. So that's also a good skill.
And it does give you a little bit of a pass because you can't help. So you get to, once you get over the part you're at now, you're like, I'll have to figure it out. You could take it all later.
She's no super Thursday. She's been here since January, but I'm just, she's getting older and I'm seeing things getting more difficult.
And she's a girl, so that makes it like the boys know they're insecurity, that's a little part of it. I think
So when do you guys really think it fully fixed? Fifth, fourth? No, not the third or fourth grade. It's about to happen.
We were told, I don't know if it's true, we were told, and I remember she came in front of us that when they start streaming or French, and when they start intertwining French and English together, that's when they're.
I didn't know.
And it was about
Fourth
fourth grade.
Like first grade, we had a teacher that didn't let us speak any English ever, like not even at recess. And if we spoke English at recess, we had to sit out like 5 minutes. I was so sick. But no, like when I tell y'all, I didn't know how to say simple words. And even when I got to, or UA, when I got to UA, I was spelling biology with an I. I'm like, I don't know how to spell, y'all, like I did I hear. But I don't know, like, once your brain, like, once it's not like you're translating it, you're just thinking in the language, I don't know, she's gonna start with that. But, yeah.
I still have problems with, unacceptable versus unacceptable. I would say unacceptable for them.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Mr. Lang, I think we need to double the teacher staff.
Thank you.
Okay, I think that's it for tonight.
One thing, I do know we have high school, we're graduating our first class this year.
Yes.
And again, when you look at the performance of our high school, they beat Lincoln. Okay? And there's, in this area, they did really well for our first class.
Oh, I love it.
Okay,
That's such good.
so
They're good.
we're gonna keep doing that because they have a lot of things they continue, by the way. In high school, it's required of our students who studied Mandarin or Spanish in 6th grade to go all the way to 10th grade. They can't do it. So they're great. Some of them will do it IB Spanish or IB Mandarin in addition to French. So
One more thing, the diversity committee is holding another forum in February on reading. So, yeah, interested. There'll be more information coming. Not to you, Angela, because you're gone.